This presentation is for Dr. Christopher Mangan, Professor, Aspen University, Doctoral Course, Action Research, presented by Jennifer Johnson, Module 5 assignment. In this Action Research Project review, we'll take a look at a problem, the goals to be accomplished, who the participants are, what challenges and obstacles may need to be overcome, what the details of the solutions and interventions are, and how the plan will be measured for effectiveness. In this Action Research Project, local school board holds an emergency meeting. New members are leading the charge for eliminating CRT, or critical race theory curriculum. Community and parental support is loud and clear. Educators are feeling a bit perplexed and concerned regarding the focus of CRT by the board. There's national discourse on the pros and cons of CRT. Questions are posed about its impact. Is the content offering racist ideology? Does it suggest students are responsible for racist attitudes? Why is CRT needed? Are white children being guilted in the racism issue? Are children of color now looked down upon as a result of this curriculum? Why are educators so focused on this theory is a question being posed. Critical race theory, according to the research, is a cross-disciplinary intellectual and social movement of civil rights scholars and activists who sought or seek to examine the intersection of race, society, and law in the United States. This approach began in the 70s when law professors, including Harvard Law, began exploring this issue. It is currently taught at the graduate level or in law school. The 5 major principles that racism is ordinary and not aberrational, the idea of an interest convergence, these areas coming together to frame the environment that exists today, the social construction of race, the idea of storytelling and counter-storytelling, and the notion that whites have been complicit and that people of color have never been asked what their feelings or concerns are regarding the environment that they have to exist in. The problem. We take a look at the issue to medium-sized urban, suburban, rural school districts. Some of the schools are urban, some are suburban, and some are rural. Southern Colorado location. Very conservative-leaning community when the results of voting polls have been researched. Large Air Force and military presence. To K-12 school district, viewed as charter-friendly, unlike many districts in the state. This school district views charters as an absolute benefit. One of the oldest school districts in the area, continues as one of the fastest growing districts statewide, so the population is continuing to increase. 80% of the population student population is white. Board composition, 7 members, 4 new, 3 returning. 2 members have garnered some community support based on their input and feedback on their views posted on social media, their own personal social media posts. However, they are our elected officials. The local press coverage is beginning to grow, community conversations expanding, social board meeting attendance is increasing, critical race theory discussions are leading the board agendas, and there are now multiple board meetings dedicated to this discussion. School board decides to call for a vote. Board meetings are overflowing with voices pro and con. Many community residents, many that don't live in the community, that have a perspective and a view. The board votes to eliminate any use of CRT curriculum. The administration is immediately directed to craft a policy for educators. The board vote brings greater community conversation. Community is split on the decision. Educators are feeling left out of a decision making. CRT is not taught in the K-12 school district. Challenges. Community divisions are growing. Community misinformation is spreading. National press coverage has emerged. Educator mistrust is growing, and there are growing tensions. Parents are feeling confused. Children are hearing the conversations. Community is aware of the debate. Statewide coverage and national coverage has emerged as an even greater concern because some of that misinformation is now being publicized at a national level. Interventions and measurement. In the ACT phase of action research, building community engagement is essential. Establishing open lines of communication is vital. Identifying a trusted consultant to facilitate 3 to 5 community forums to focus on CRT-related issues is part of the intervention. Those community forums will be scheduled in different parts of the community to allow various groups to participate in the discussions. The intervention will require educating the board, informing the community, focusing on communication, collaboration, and cooperation, establishing open and harmonious lines of communication between educators and board, between the board and community, between the board and business leaders, and our not-for-profits as well. In this intervention, building that trust and transparency is essential. Establishing consistent messaging to community, where a few board members were putting their personal views on their social media post, it created a sense of confusion, not recognizing that those were personal posts and not necessarily board decisions or board concerns or board observations. Connect with local elected officials to keep the free flow of information. Engage with local business community seeking continued support. Understand that in the intervention phase, input will need to be solicited from the board members, from senior level administration, from educators, from community members, and business leaders, as well as from not-for-profit organizations, military representation, parent-teacher association, CRT expert educators, and interested community. That feedback will provide measurement for next steps. Gathering that feedback from the educators, from the parents. Observations of board meeting decorum will be essential as measurement of ongoing progress is calculated and recorded before and after community-wide forum survey, so that before the forums, participants will actually fill out a survey. Following the forums, participants will be asked to fill out a survey. That will help gauge measurement of progress, and the consultant will be asked to produce a report before and after the forums. This presentation has these references to support the recommendations for this review.